John floated in his small spacesuit, fixing a broken part on his mining ship. He looked at the stars all around him. The sky was dark and full of tiny lights. John had been a space miner for 5 years now. He was good at his job, but it was lonely work. As John finished the repair, he saw something odd. Far away, something was moving. It wasn't a star or a planet. It was too big and too close. John used his suit to fly back to his ship. He wanted to see what this thing was. Inside his ship, John turned on the big screens. He told the computer to look at the strange object. The computer showed him a picture of a huge black ship. It was floating in space, not moving. Wow, John said to himself. He had never seen a ship like this before. It was big and dark. It didn't look like any ship made by humans or the aliens they knew about. John decided to get closer. He started his engines and moved towards the black ship. As he got near, he saw how big it really was. It was 10 times bigger than his mining ship. The black ship looked very old, but it didn't have any damage. There were no lights on, and it seemed empty. John's heart was beating fast. He knew this was a big deal. Should he call for help? Should he leave? But John was curious. He wanted to know more about this strange ship. He put on his spacesuit again and left his ship. John floated towards the black ship. He looked for a way to get inside. After a few minutes, he found a door. It was hard to see because it was the same black color as the rest of the ship. John touched the door. To his surprise, it opened easily. He went inside the black ship. It was dark, but his suit had lights. He turned them on and looked around. The inside of the ship was amazing. It was nothing like the ships John knew. There were no buttons or screens. Everything was smooth and simple, but John could feel that this ship was very powerful. He walked through many rooms. They were all empty. There were no people, no aliens, nothing. It was like everyone had left a long time ago. In the middle of the ship, John found a big room. It looked like it might be where the ship was controlled from. There was a single chair in the center. John sat in it, wondering what would happen. Suddenly, the whole room lit up. Lights and strange symbols appeared all around John. He jumped up, scared, but nothing bad happened. The ship seemed to be waking up. John knew he had found something very important. This ship was special. It was probably worth more money than he could imagine, but John didn't want to sell it. He wanted to know how it worked. He decided to keep the black ship a secret. John was good with machines. He thought he could learn how to use the ship. It would take time, but he was excited. John went back to his own ship. He connected it to the black ship so he could pull it along. He would take it to a quiet place where no one would find them. As John started to move both ships, he felt different. His life was about to change. He didn't know it yet, but this strange discovery would lead him on the biggest adventure of his life. John looked at the stars again. For the first time in years, he smiled. The universe suddenly seemed much bigger and more exciting. He couldn't wait to see what would happen next. John spent the next few weeks working on the black ship. He hid both ships in an empty part of space where no one would find them. Every day he learned something new about the strange ship. At first, John couldn't make the ship do anything. He tried pushing buttons and saying commands, but nothing worked. Then, on the 5th day, he found out the ship could read his mind. When John thought about turning on the lights, they came on. When he wanted to see a map of the galaxy, it appeared in front of them. The ship was smarter than any computer John had ever seen. John began to test what the ship could do. He found out it could move very fast. One day, he thought about a planet he had seen in a book. Suddenly, the ship jumped through space. In seconds, they were near that planet. John was amazed. No other ship could move that fast. The black ship had other powers too. It could make itself invisible. It could create a shield that nothing could break. It could even make food and water out of nothing. John realized he would never have to go back to his old life. He could live on this ship forever. As the days passed, John started to find clues about who made the ship. He found strange writing on some walls. The ship helped him read it. The writing talked about a very old alien race. They had lived millions of years ago and were very smart. John learned that these aliens had been peaceful. They didn't like war, but something had made them build this ship. John wondered what could scare a race so powerful that they needed to make a ship like this. One night, John had a dream. He saw the aliens who made the ship. They were tall and had blue skin. In the dream, they looked scared. They were running from something. When John woke up, he felt like the ship had given him the dream. It was trying to tell him something. John decided to use the ship to explore the galaxy. He wanted to find out more about the aliens who made it. Maybe he could find out why they disappeared. Before he left, John sent a message to his family. He told them he was going on a long trip. He didn't say anything about the black ship. He knew it had to stay a secret. On the day John decided to leave, he felt excited and scared. He didn't know what he would find out in space, but he knew it would be an adventure. John sat in the control chair and thought about the stars. The ship came to life around him. Lights blinked and strange symbols floated in the air. John smiled. He was ready to explore. Just as the ship was about to jump to another part of space, John saw something on the screen. It was another ship. This one looked like it was made by humans. For a second, John thought about saying hello, but then he remembered he had to keep the black ship a secret. John told the ship to turn invisible. In a flash, they disappeared. The other ship flew past, not knowing John was there. John felt a little bad about hiding, but he knew the black ship was too important. If the wrong people found out about it, it could be dangerous. As the human ship disappeared from view, John took a deep breath. This was his life now. He was the captain of the most powerful ship in the galaxy, and he was the only one who knew about it. John looked at the stars spreading out before him. He thought about all the places he could go, all the things he could see. With a smile, he told the ship to jump. In a blink, they were gone, off to explore the secrets of the universe. John had been traveling in the black ship for months. He had seen amazing things, stars being born, planets with rings of ice, and colorful gas clouds bigger than whole solar systems. But he hadn't met any aliens yet. That was about to change. One day, John saw a planet that looked a lot like Earth. It was blue and green with white clouds swirling over it. The ship's computer said people lived there. John got excited. This would be his first time meeting aliens. He made the ship visible and flew towards the planet. As he got closer, he saw cities on the surface. They looked strange, with tall, twisty buildings that shone in the sun. John smiled. He was about to make history. The black ship entered the planet's air. John saw flying cars zooming between the buildings. The aliens looked a bit like humans, but they had purple skin and big round eyes. They stopped and stared as John's ship flew by. John landed the ship in a big open space in the middle of a city. A crowd of aliens gathered around, looking curious and scared. John took a deep breath and opened the door. As he stepped out, the aliens gasped. They had never seen a human before. John waved and smiled, trying to look friendly. "Hello," he said, even though he knew they wouldn't understand. For a moment, everything was quiet. Then one of the aliens stepped forward. It made some chirping sounds and waved its hands. John thought it was trying to say hello back. Just as John was starting to feel good about this first meeting, something went wrong. Another alien pointed at the black ship and started shouting. Soon, all the aliens were yelling and backing away. John didn't know what was happening. He held up his hands to show he wasn't dangerous. But the aliens weren't looking at him anymore. They were all staring at the ship with fear in their big eyes. Suddenly, John heard a loud noise. He turned and saw flying machines coming towards him. They looked like the alien version of police cars. John realized he was in trouble. He ran back to the ship, his heart beating fast. The door closed just as the flying machines arrived. They started shooting some kind of energy beams at the ship. John sat in the control chair, his hands shaking. He didn't understand why the aliens were attacking. He hadn't done anything wrong. The ship's computer showed that the energy beams weren't hurting the ship. Its shields were too strong. But John knew he had to leave. This first meeting with aliens had gone very wrong. He thought about flying away, and the ship responded. It rose into the air, with the alien machines still shooting at it. John felt bad. He had wanted to make friends, not enemies. As the ship flew higher, John saw more alien ships coming. They were bigger and looked like they had stronger weapons. John didn't want to find out if they could hurt his ship. He thought about being far away from this planet, and the ship jumped. In a flash, they were in empty space again. John let out a long breath. He was safe, but he felt awful. What had gone wrong? Why were the aliens so scared of his ship? John asked the ship's computer, but it didn't know. The aliens' language and technology were too different. As John sat there, feeling sad and confused, he realized something important. The black ship wasn't just amazing, it was dangerous. To some aliens, it might look like a weapon. He thought about the aliens who built the ship. Maybe they had faced the same problem. Maybe that's why they had disappeared. John knew he had to be more careful. He couldn't just fly to any planet and say hello. He needed to learn more about the aliens before he met them. As he looked out at the stars, John felt less excited and more worried. His big adventure had just gotten a lot more complicated, but he wasn't going to give up. He would find a way to make friends out here in space. He had to. After the bad meeting with the aliens, John was more careful. He used the black ship to watch other planets from far away. He learned about many alien races without them seeing him. But John didn't know that news about the black ship was spreading. The aliens he met had told others. Soon stories about a powerful mystery ship were all over the galaxy. One day, John was near a small moon, watching alien ships go by. Suddenly, his ship's computer warned him. A big group of ships was coming right at him. John quickly made the ship invisible, but it was too late. The other ships had already seen him. They started to surround the place where John's ship had been. John's heart beat fast. He knew he had to run. He thought about jumping far away, and the black ship responded. In a flash, they were in another part of space. But the trouble wasn't over. More ships appeared, chasing John. He realized that aliens all over the galaxy were looking for him now. John jumped again and again. Each time, he hoped he had lost the ships chasing him, but they always found him. It seemed like everyone wanted the black ship. As he ran, John saw many amazing things. He zoomed past giant space stations and through beautiful star clusters. He saw planets of all colors and sizes, but he couldn't stop to enjoy any of it. The chase went on for days. John was tired and scared. He didn't know who was chasing him or what they wanted. He just knew he had to keep running. One time, John jumped into the middle of a big space battle. Two alien races were fighting each other with huge ships. When they saw the black ship appear, they stopped fighting each other. Instead, they all started chasing John. Another time, John found himself near a black hole. The powerful gravity almost pulled him in. He had to use all the ship's power to escape. The aliens chasing him weren't so lucky. Some of their ships got pulled into the black hole. John felt bad about that. He didn't want anyone to get hurt, but he also knew he couldn't let them catch him. The black ship was too powerful to fall into the wrong hands. As the chase went on, John learned more about what the ship could do. He found out it could make copies of itself to confuse the other ships. He used this trick to escape many times. He also learned that the ship could hide inside stars. John would fly right into a sun, and the ship's shields would protect him. The aliens couldn't follow him there. But John was getting tired of running. He missed having a home. He thought about Earth and his family, but he knew he couldn't go back. It would put everyone in danger. One day, after another close escape, John had an idea. He remembered that the ship could read his mind. He closed his eyes and thought hard about a safe place, somewhere no one could find him. The ship hummed. Then it jumped. When John opened his eyes, he saw something strange. The ship had taken him to a hidden part of space. There was a small planet there, hidden inside a thick dust cloud. John landed on the planet. It was beautiful, with purple trees and blue grass. There were no people or aliens. For the first time in weeks, John felt safe. He decided to stay on this planet for a while. He needed time to think and plan. The galaxy was looking for him, but they wouldn't find him here. As John walked on the blue grass, He thought about everything that had happened. He had seen amazing things and had big adventures, but he had also made a lot of enemies. John looked up at the sky. He couldn't see the stars because of the dust cloud, but he knew they were out there, and he knew that someday he would have to go back. For now, though, John was happy to rest. He had a lot to learn about the ship and himself, and he needed to figure out what to do next. The chase was over for now, but John knew his adventure was far from finished. John spent many days on the hidden planet. He named it Blue Haven because of its blue grass. While there, he studied the black ship carefully. He wanted to know all its secrets. One day, John found a new room in the ship. It was small and round with a chair in the middle. When he sat in the chair, the room came alive. Lights danced around him, forming pictures in the air. John realized this room was telling the story of the aliens who built the ship. He saw images of their world, a beautiful planet with tall, crystal buildings. The aliens looked peaceful and happy. But then the pictures changed. John saw another alien race, one that looked mean and scary. They attacked the peaceful aliens' planet. There was a big war. The peaceful aliens didn't want to fight, but they had to protect themselves. So they built powerful ships, ships like the one John was in. John watched as the war got worse. Both sides used their powerful ships to destroy planets. Whole solar systems disappeared. It was terrible. The peaceful aliens realized their ships were too dangerous. If the war continued, it might destroy the whole galaxy. So they made a hard choice. They decided to hide their ships and disappear. John saw the aliens saying goodbye to each other. They split up and went to different parts of the galaxy. They hid their ships in secret places. Then they used their technology to change themselves. They became simple creatures on faraway planets. The last image John saw was of the black ship, floating alone in space. It had waited there for millions of years until John found it. When the story ended, John sat quietly for a long time. He felt sad for the aliens. They had lost their home and had to give up their whole way of life, all because they made something too powerful. John thought about his own situation. He was like those aliens now. He had a powerful ship and everyone wanted it. Would he have to disappear too? As he thought about this, John noticed something new. There was a small box in the room he hadn't seen before. He opened it and found a strange device inside. The device fit in John's hand. When he touched it, it lit up. John realized it was a key. The ship was telling him that this key could unlock the ship's full power. John felt excited but also scared. He remembered the war he had seen in the alien story. What if the ship's full power was too dangerous? He decided not to use the key yet. First, he needed to learn more. John asked the ship to show him how to read the aliens' language. Over the next few days, he studied hard. As John learned to read the alien writing, he found out more about the ship. He learned that it could do amazing things like travel through time or make wormholes in space. But the most important thing John learned was about the ship's purpose. It wasn't just a weapon. It was also a tool for peace. The aliens had hoped that one day someone would use the ship to bring all the races in the galaxy together. John thought about this for a long time. He had been running and hiding, but maybe that wasn't the right thing to do. Maybe he was supposed to use the ship to help people. Just as John was thinking this, the ship's alarms went off. Something was coming towards the planet. John ran to the control room and looked at the screens. He saw a huge fleet of ships entering the dust cloud. Somehow, they had found his hiding place, and they didn't look friendly. John knew he had to make a choice. Should he run again, or should he stay and face whoever was coming? And what about the key? Should he use the ship's full power? As the other ships got closer, John took a deep breath. He didn't know what would happen next, but he knew one thing for sure. The time for hiding was over. Whatever he decided to do, it would change the galaxy forever. As the alien fleet got closer to Blue Haven, John made his decision. He wouldn't run anymore. It was time to face whatever was coming. John flew the black ship out of the dust cloud. He saw hundreds of alien ships waiting for him. They were all different shapes and sizes. John realized that many alien races had come together to find him. Suddenly, All the alien ships started talking to him at once. Their messages filled his screen. Some were angry, some were scared, and some were curious. But they all wanted the same thing, the black ship. John took a deep breath. He pressed a button to send a message to all the ships. "I want to talk," he said. "I'm not your enemy. Let's meet and discuss this." To John's surprise, the aliens agreed. They chose a nearby empty planet for the meeting. John landed the black ship there, and representatives from each alien race came out to meet him. As John stepped out of his ship, he felt nervous, but he remembered what he had learned about the ship's true purpose. He wasn't here to fight. He was here to make peace. John told the aliens everything he had learned. He told them about the ancient war and how the black ship was meant to bring people together. Some aliens didn't believe him. Others looked interested. Just as John was starting to feel hopeful, a new ship appeared in the sky. It was huge and looked very powerful. John's heart sank when he saw the writing on its side. It was from Earth. The Earth ship landed, and a group of humans came out. They looked angry. "That ship belongs to humanity," their leader said. "Hand it over now, or we'll take it by force." John couldn't believe it. His own people were threatening him. He tried to explain, but the Earth leader wouldn't listen. He ordered his soldiers to attack. As the Earth soldiers came towards him, John knew he had to act fast. He pulled out the key he had found in the ship. Without thinking, he pressed it. Suddenly, the black ship started to change. It grew bigger and bigger. Soon, it was as large as a city. John and all the aliens were inside it now. Inside the giant ship, everyone could understand each other. John realized the ship was translating for them. He used this chance to explain everything again. This time, everyone listened. The aliens and humans saw images of the ancient war. They learned about the ship's power and its real purpose. Slowly, they started to understand. The Earth leader looked ashamed. "We thought the ship would make us powerful," he said. "We didn't know it was meant for peace." One of the aliens stepped forward. "We all made the same mistake," it said. "We wanted the ship's power for ourselves, but now we see that it's meant to be shared." John felt relieved. It looked like there would be peace after all. But then the ship's alarms went off again. On the big screens, they saw a terrible sight. A huge army of evil aliens was attacking Earth. The aliens John had just made peace with looked scared. "Those are the destroyers," one said. "They attack weak planets and take them over. Your Earth is in danger." Without hesitating, John said, "We have to help them." To his surprise, all the aliens agreed. Even those who had been his enemies before were ready to fight for Earth. John used the ship's power to take them all to Earth quickly. When they got there, a big space battle had already started. The destroyers were winning. But now, John had friends from all over the galaxy. Together, they fought against the destroyers. The battle was hard, but in the end they won. Earth was saved. After the battle, humans and aliens celebrated together. They realized that they were stronger as friends than as enemies. John had brought them all together, just like the ancient aliens had hoped. From that day on, things changed. Earth joined a galactic alliance with the other aliens. John became a hero, not just to humans, but to the whole galaxy. And the black ship, it became a symbol of peace and friendship between all races. John knew his adventure wasn't over. In fact, it was just beginning. But now he wasn't alone. He had friends from every corner of the galaxy, ready to explore the universe together.